All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the Python 3.x resources. So why would we initiate that? What would we use that for? And why is it important to know what that is and how we can use it to benefit our learning of Python? Okay, so let's take a look at Browse Python 3.9 documentation, and let's kind of look at all the different information that they have on here. Okay, so we have what's new in Python 3.9. We have a tutorial, library reference, language reference, Python setup and usage, Python how-tos, installing Python modules, distributing Python modules, extending and embedding, Python C API, and then frequently asked questions. Okay, so we covered frequently asked questions with the beginner's guide, I believe. Yes, we did. So we talked about that. And for what's new in Python, let's take a look at that. So this is a summary of their release, which was done about a month and a half ago, October 5th, so almost 2 months ago. And the summary release highlights are here, so you can see all the different changes that they made. So every time that they make a change, they'll put it here and what's new in Python. So when they go to Python 4, whenever that is, I don't know when that is, but when they update to Python 4.0, that's what this would be, okay? Now, for the tutorial, this is a detailed tutorial on getting started with Python and working through a lot of issues, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the fundamentals in the basic section, and we'll talk about a lot of the stuff that they're covering here. Some things we won't talk about, some things we will. But this is just a Python tutorial on their actual site. So if you want to go above and beyond what we learned in this course, you can come here and dive into this after you do the course, and you'll be familiar with it. And remember, repetition is key. So the more you repeat this and practice, the easier it's going to become. Okay? Then you have library reference. So keep this under your pillow. I like that. The Python language reference describes the exact syntax and semantics of Python language. This library reference manual describes the standard library that is distributed with Python. Okay, so this is everything that's distributed with Python. Okay, so you can see everything that's working with it. Now, let's look at the Python language reference. Okay, so this reference manual describes the syntax and core semantics of the language. It attempts to be exact and complete. Okay. Okay, so these are all the different language references. Okay. Which is what we just did right here. Then we have Python setup and usage. So if I look at that, this will go through the command line environment, interface options, generic options, miscellaneous options, options you shouldn't use, environment variables, Python on Unix, building Python, Python on Windows, etc. Okay, so this is a deep dive into that. Now we're going to do an overview and I'll show you how to install it and get up and running. And if you want to go above and beyond that, you can dive into this. Okay. Then we have Python how-tos. So porting code, or porting Python 2 to 3, porting extensions, curses, programming with Python, descriptor how-to guide, etc. Okay. Then we have installing Python modules, distributing Python modules, extending and embedding, Python C API, and frequently asked questions we went over. So Python modules is a popular open source development project. So this is to install modules. So think of modules as extensions. Okay, so if you use WordPress, for an example, you download extensions. Okay, or plugins they call it. Okay, distributing Python modules. So As a popular open source development project, Python is an active supporting community of contributors and users that also make their software available for other Python developers to use under open source license terms. This allows Python users to share and collaborate effectively, benefiting from the solutions others have already created to common and sometimes even rare problems, as well as potentially contributing their own solutions to the common pool. So think of the distribution of Python modules as a community of programmers that are sharing their information and saying, hey, I made this. What if you added this to your project? And then it would solve that problem. So it's a bunch of people solving problems and then putting in a pool, and then everybody can use it. Extending and embedding the Python interpreter. So this document describes how to write modules in C or C++ to extend the Python interpreter with new modules. Okay. And then we have Python C API reference manual. So this is for programmers who want to write extension modules or embed Python. Okay. So it goes into a deep dive here. And again, once we get to the end of the course, if you want to come back to this and take a look at it and dive into it deeper and learn more, I highly recommend doing that. Okay. So that is the, let me go back here real quick. That is the Python 3.x resources. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.